We're at the Vietnam Veterans Plaza in New York City. It's located at 55 Water Street, and this is a symbol of American honor and recognition for all those that served and also gave the ultimate sacrifice. Once again, we are in New York City, 55 Water Street. It is Vietnam Veterans Recognition Day. It's March 27th, 2021. And this is the Walk of Honor where the names of the 1,741 New Yorkers who died in the Vietnam War is listed.
Veterans Council and a U.S. Marine veteran of the Panama invasion and Desert Storm. I'm also the son of a Vietnam veteran. On behalf of our organization, we are proud to once again bring our veterans community together to pay tribute to those who served and sacrificed in the Vietnam War. It has been a strange and difficult year, to say the least. As you all know, this time last year, we were forced to observe this occasion separately and virtually because of the global pandemic. To any here who suffered loss or hardship due to COVID-19, we extend our deepest sympathies. We hope that today's event will be a part of our collective recovery and the start of a return to a normal way of life. This year, we are once again partnering with our friends at Vietnam Veterans of America, Manhattan Chapter 126, as well as our friends at Vietnam Veterans Plaza to bring you this day's events. We also want to acknowledge our hosts at 55 Water Street, who are the stewards of this very special place. Also, many of you have joined us directly from the 3rd Annual Vietnam Veterans Tribute March over the Brooklyn Bridge, which has returned after a one-year hiatus. This new tradition commemorates the Welcome Home Parade held by Vietnam veterans in 1985 as part of the celebrations marking the dedication of this memorial. We want in particular to salute our Vietnam veterans and their Korean Vietnam veteran friends who made this march with us. Your example is inspiring. I had a hard time keeping up with some of these guys. Once again, we are not able to do our traditional name reading. However, we have created a tribute video honoring New York City's Vietnam fallen, which you can view on UWVC social media or on our website at uwvc.org. In addition to those mentioned previously, we'd like to thank QG Floral and City Entertainment for their support of today's event. In addition, we want to acknowledge the UWVC's major 2020 and 2021 partners, JP Morgan Chase & Company, Fiserv, Wounded Warrior Project, T-Mobile, Verizon, Cushman & Wakefield, and U-Haul. We're also pleased to welcome all of our participating groups and individuals of all ages and backgrounds. Thank you for helping pay tribute to Vietnam veterans. Our first speaker today is Lieutenant Colonel James Hendon, Commissioner of New York City Department of Veterans Services. Welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you so much. Just want to start before reading the proclamation from the mayor honoring today's activities. Just want to give honors and salutations to the good people from the United War Veterans Council who put this together, between Mark Otto as executive director, also Nick Angione, the chairman, and various other members. We'd be remiss if I didn't recognize President Emeritus McGowan, who's with us today. Yeah, let's give him a hand. Also, I want to acknowledge my good friends from the New York Police Department. As someone who was a part of that march just now, we appreciate all the help they did as well. I know they may not hear, but let's just give them a round of applause, everyone. I want to acknowledge everyone who is here right now who is a part of the veteran community, particularly those of us who have been a part of this conflict, who are part of the Vietnam conflict. I'm not just talking about the folks who are on the American side of the house, on U.S. forces. I'm also talking about the folks who are not here from the Army of the Republic of Vietnam. I'm talking about folks from nations, including but not limited to Australia, the Dominican Republic. We were talking on the march about the Gurkhas being a part of the conflict. We're talking about the Filipinos, and I'd be remiss if I did not call out our Korean brothers and sisters, many of whom were with VVA Chapter 126, who were part of this fight. And last but not least, just want to make sure that we recognize the 58,220 service members who passed away, who gave their lives, made the ultimate sacrifice during the activities from November 1st, 1955 to April 30th, 1975. Recognize the 150,000 service members who were wounded in battle, and recognize the 21,000 who were permanently disabled from those actions that occurred in Vietnam. So we just want to say, on behalf of the city of New York, not just the city of New York, but just America, we appreciate you, we honor you, and we just respect and love you for what you've done to continue to allow us to have what we have today as far as life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So just to give yourselves a round of applause. And just for those who are not here today. And now to the proclamation. From the 109th Mayor of the City of New York, Mayor Bill de Blasio, whereas throughout our country's history, generations of selfless New Yorkers have answered the call to serve in every branch of our nation's armed forces. These individuals put their lives on the line to uphold the freedoms and democratic ideals that are at the core of our nation's values, and today we recognize the heroes who risked everything by taking part in the Vietnam War. Whereas this day provides us with an excellent opportunity to reflect on the sacrifices made by our New Yorkers in uniform. And through my administration's Department of Veterans Services, we are working every day to ensure that those who defend our nation receive the support and respect that they rightfully deserve. Equally important are those who have fallen with valor, and we are committed to making certain that those who we lost are always honored and never forgotten. Whereas the United War Veterans Council has been an irreplaceable ally in our mission to uplift New Yorkers who have served or continue to serve. And through its advocacy, programming, employment trainings, health services, and so much more, this organization has left an indelible impact on the lives of veterans across our city. Today, I am honored to join with UWVC in saluting our outstanding patriots and expressing my sincere gratitude for all they do to safeguard our liberties both at home and abroad. In commemoration of this fearless community, we will stand by our unwavering commitment to build a better future for all. Now, therefore, I, Bill de Blasio, Mayor of the City of New York, do hereby proclaim Saturday, March 27th, 2021 in the City of New York as Vietnam Veterans Day. Signed, Mayor Bill de Blasio, Mayor, New York City.
We now have a proclamation from the State of New York, presented by Mr. Mike Bocchini, Deputy Director, New York State Division of Veteran Affairs.
Thank you, although I'm not sure what I did to you to make me go after the commissioner. So, next year I'll go first, you can go second. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I bring you greetings from the governor and from the entire New York State Division of Veteran Services. I want to also thank United War Veterans Council for inviting the state to participate in today's event, and I want to thank all the veterans here from every era for your service, and particularly for our Vietnam veterans. Welcome home. A proclamation from the Executive Chamber of the State of New York. Whereas throughout the history of our state and nation, countless brave individuals have answered the call to patriotic duty, including Vietnam veterans who endured unspeakable hardships and risked their lives fighting for the ideals of democracy. Whereas American involvement in the Vietnam War, one of the longest military conflicts in America's history, began with the arrival of the United States military personnel in South Vietnam in the 1950s and ended with the fall of Saigon on April 30th, 1975, when the last Americans were evacuated from the United States Embassy. Whereas during this long and difficult war, American involvement escalated to staggering statistics. Over 3.4 million were deployed to Southeast Asia, 2.7 million served in the designated war zone, over 58,000 were killed in the theater of operations, 153,000 were non-mortally wounded. Today, nearly 4 decades later, at least 1,600 service members are still unaccounted for. Whereas the names listed on the Vietnam Memorial Wall in our nation's capital, of those, 4,119 are those of courageous young New Yorkers who went off to fight half a world away, never to return. We recognize and thank all of our state's Vietnam veterans for their service. Those who made the ultimate sacrifice, those who came home physically or emotionally scarred, and those who returned home safely to their loved ones. Whereas we have not forgotten, nor will we ever forget, the men and women who served so honorably in the Vietnam War, Like so many others who answered the call to serve in previous and subsequent wars, the selfless service and sacrifice of Vietnam veterans is an inspiring reminder of the patriotism, spirit, and courage of all those who serve in our nation's armed forces. And whereas it was on March 29th, 1973, that the last 2,500 American combat troops were withdrawn from the battlefields of Vietnam, and we solemnly commemorate the 40th anniversary of this day and reflect on its significance for past, present, and future generations. Now, therefore, I, Andrew M. Cuomo, Governor of the State of New York, do hereby proclaim March 29th, 2021 as Vietnam Veterans Day in the Empire State. Thank you.
Now it is my honor to recognize this year's Service to Vietnam Veterans honoree. This is the 5th year that we are presenting this award, which bears the name of our former Executive Director, Pat Gualtieri. Pat was an icon of New York City veterans community. He led the charge to revitalize and expand our Veterans Day Parade, and also expanded the United War Veterans Council's and activities to a year-round calendar of events. One of the events Pat launched was this one, honoring Vietnam veterans. Pat's legacy is also carried on by the Patrick L. Gualtieri Assistance Fund, thanks to Ms. Molly Levy. It is only fitting that we have renamed this award the Patrick L. Gualtieri Service to Vietnam Veterans Award, and it is even more fitting that the award bears the image of Pat's famous Vietnam Veterans baseball cap. To help me present this award, I would like to invite up to the front Mr. Ryan Hay, longtime producer of the New York City Veterans Day Parade, whom our honoree has mentored over the years. This year, we are honored to recognize another icon of our Vietnam veterans community, and a longtime friend and advocate of veterans of all eras. Vince McGowan was born in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan. He grew up in some of the toughest Irish-American neighborhoods on New York's West Side. He joined the Marines in 1964, just before his 18th birthday. Vince excelled as an infantryman before qualifying for airborne and elite reconnaissance training. After a year of service in the Mediterranean, Corporal McGowan volunteered for service in Vietnam. During his first few months in country, Vince displayed courage and leadership, but also empathy for the local population. These qualities led him to be assigned to a new kind of special operations unit, which was referred to as a combined action platoon. Their objective was to win the hearts and minds of the local population and to have them join the resistance against the communist forces. Vince led a small, hand-picked team of Marines who lived among 6,000 Vietnamese farmers in the village of Binh Nha. The Marines trained these farmers how to defend their village. By living among the villagers, the Marines were able to earn their trust and respect. Together, they routinely repelled attacks from a numerically superior and seasoned Viet Cong battalion that was based across the river from their location. Their story is told by author Bing West in the book, The Village. The Village has become required reading material in our military service academies. It illustrates how to successfully engage with populations in Afghanistan and other war zones. After his honorable service to our country, Vince spent a number of years working and traveling overseas. Returning to New York City, Vince rededicated himself to ensuring that his fellow veterans received the care and support that they so rightfully had earned. He was a founding member of Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 126, and took on leadership roles in a number of veterans and civic organizations. In the 1980s, when the New York City Veterans Day Parade was in danger of extinction, Vince joined fellow veterans Harvey Bagg and Bernie Ray in reviving the United War Veterans Council to save the parade. In 2000, Vince brought in Pat Gualtieri, a fellow Vietnam veteran, to spearhead efforts to restore the parade to its former glory. Thanks to their combined efforts, the New York City Veterans Day Parade is the largest Veterans Day event in the nation. Over the years, Vince has continued his work in service to our veterans and our community. He has been a leader and active member in Vietnam Veterans of America, the American Legion, and other veteran organizations. He has helped drive the construction or renewal of numerous veteran memorials and spaces in New York City, including the Deo Presso Libre Horse Soldier statue, the Eternal Light Flagstaff, and of course, this plaza which we are standing in. Vince served 15 years as chair of the New York City Veterans Advisory Board, and he also served on the New York State Governor's Veterans Advisory Board. Vince played a key role in the effort to elevate the Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs to a fully funded city department. During the events of 9/11, Vince stepped forward to help coordinate the evacuation of Lower Manhattan. As New York State Manager of Battery Park City Parks Conservancy and as a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary, Vince helped to orchestrate the largest waterborne operation in mankind's history, much larger than even the evacuation of Dunkirk in World War II. Vince was awarded the U.S. Treasury Department's highest award for these actions. He also received recognition from the Mayor of New York City, NYPD, the Red Cross, YMCA, and many other organizations. In fact, there are too many to mention in this limited amount of time that we have here. More recently, at the 2019 Centennial New York City Veterans Day Parade, Vince was recognized by the President of the United States and the Commandant of the Marine Corps for his lifetime of achievements in the New York City veterans community. Now retired, Vince spends much of his time with his wife Brenda, his 3 sons, and their families. Of his 3 boys, Matt, Doug, and Zach, Doug, the middle son, followed his father's footsteps as a Marine and is chairman of the UWVC. Vince, it is thanks in large part to your leadership that we're all standing here today. On behalf of the United War Veterans Council, our Vietnam veterans and veterans of all eras, it is our honor to present you with the 2021 Patrick L. Gualtieri Service to Vietnam Veterans Award.
Well, good morning, everyone. And thanks for that great introduction, Mark. A little bit overwhelming, but time does fly, and it's great to look back and see how things are going. Being here at our Vietnam Veterans Plaza Memorial really brings back all of the excitement, all of the sadness, all of the exhilaration, all of the expectations that many of us who are Vietnam veterans, when we came out of the service and had expectations that weren't met. We have the United War Veterans Council in partnership with city agencies, senior veterans organizations, VFW, American Legion, DVA, Eastern Paralyzed Veterans Associations, have put together over time now a sequence of accomplishments that we hope are going to show the future veterans of New York City that anything is possible, no matter how dark the circumstances or no how daunting the task may seem. The United War Veterans Council has done a fabulous job in this past year keeping the veterans community communicated with their partners in red, white, and blue, and with the Gallup groups out in Jersey and in the other parts of the metropolitan area. UWVC has been able to help make sure that things aren't forgotten, that events and people don't drop between the cracks because we had a disturbance of 1 year. This plaza is in itself an incubator of hope for the veterans community. When we took this plaza over in the early 80s, it was called Jeannette Park. Jeannette, the USS Jeannette, was a ship that got stuck in the ice in the North Pole, and everyone on board died. Not a great way to start putting a memorial to honor servicemen. But this is what the city gave us back in 1983 when nobody came down to Lower Manhattan and nobody wanted to hear about Vietnam veterans. Over the course of these decades now, we have raised millions and millions of dollars to build this and refresh this memorial through the Friends of the Vietnam Veterans Plaza, today represented here by Jim Barnes. Please, Jim, stand up, representing the Friends of the Vietnam Veterans Plaza. Vietnam Veterans Plaza Board of Directors and our chairman, Bob Gualtieri, have worked hard to raise the money to keep this plaza in the condition that you see it. This is not public money. This is all money that we have to raise. We raise public money to build it, and we raise public money to maintain it. And United War Veterans Council hopefully will be part of that going forward, because Friends are lucky enough to have Mark Otto and my son Doug both on our board now. So there's hope here. Thank you, Mark, for stepping forward as usual. The veterans community is a very unique kind of social infrastructure that this country doesn't really understand. Most people think of us as just a bunch of, flag waving, saluting one another, sometimes called characters, because we speak up, we show our colors, and we show up. And there's a lesson inside of here that New York City, New York State, and at this point the country can start to look at, that groups like ours, the United War Veterans Council, and the groups that are represented here today, particularly our Korean War Veterans brothers up here, are encouraged to start moving along with our lives. We have to regain the ground that we and our families, particularly our children and grandchildren, have lost over the years, over this year. This opportunity today, I hope the press picks up some of it, talks about the optimism in the veterans community and the optimism for the city. This is a good place to start that, because it was right after 9/11 in 2001, on November 19th, so a few months short, after the attacks, when we had the opening. We got this place rebuilt and got it opened, even while the smoke was still rising right over to your left, to my right, over the World Trade Center. And while that was going on, we made sure that the construction work here and the timeliness of our efforts were not usurped by the emergency needs over in World Trade Center. We had waited a long time to get this place right, and we weren't going to let a terrorist attack slow us down. It didn't. The place is here now, and it's going to remain here, and it's through participation in events like this. It's through encouraging your bank, encourage your large retailer to energize their veteran programs. Use every store has a 10% veterans discount. Just ask for it. But in the course of your normal lives, just remind people that their debt of gratitude is owed to the veterans, all who gave some who gave all, so that we can enjoy liberty and enjoy freedom and enjoy a country free of repression. Thank you all for being here today. It's always heartening to hear the sound of the helicopters. People used to complain about them here, but we reminded them that for us Vietnam veterans, the sound of a helicopter is the sound of hope and freedom. It means help is on its way. So here we are, right off of the heliport. We are here today together. I want to thank you all again for coming. Please remind you have representatives here of your mayor and your governor, two great men who have done an awful lot for the veterans community. I really have to thank Governor Cuomo. When I was on his advisory board, we recommended that veteran entrepreneurs get a benefit in contract letting that was being shared by women and minorities at the time. This goes back into the governor's second administration. Not only did we get an equivalent 5 points, but now we have 7 points on contracts if you're a veteran-owned business. That's something to think about, and I know the commissioner has, in New York City, has access to help that can be for men and women who are veterans who may want to start their own business. The commissioner and I were talking about it today. There's a rejuvenation coming here in New York City. The money is in the pipeline. It's time for us to pay attention that it's going to come, and we should talk about some way of fair sharing to make sure that those proceeds come into our community to help the programs that we've fought so long for to establish and to maintain. Thanks again for everything. Thanks again to the United Warriors Council. Ryan, thanks for that great write-up. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun along the way, that's for sure. All right, thank you very much, folks.
Now please welcome Vicki Miano, sister of Stephen Pickett, who gave his life in Vietnam. Vicki will be reading a letter from her brother. This letter can be found in the book Dear America, Letters Home from Vietnam, which was drawn from letters submitted during the creation of this memorial.
Good morning, and thank you, Mark, Ryan, United War Veterans Council. Congratulations, Vince, very well deserved. Yes, as Mark just mentioned, I'm having trouble with this mask. The book is Dear America, and I was very honored to be able to have two of my brother's letters submitted into this book. And that was how I came to learn of this memorial, because there's etchings. These etchings are excerpts out of this book. And I was invited here in 1985, seems like a lifetime ago, but it was an amazing ceremony, memorial, and again, it was just a great honor. So, I will read. Tuesday, November 14th, 1967, 7 p.m. Dear Mom, Dad, Chris, and Vicki, we were well informed here about the demonstrations by both sides. Even though I'm here, I still have an open mind, realizing, of course, that an immediate pullout or anything of the sort is out of the question. It would degrade the heroic deaths of those who never returned, because it would mean going back on everything that we have done. There are many here who feel as I do, but we will continue to fight for the country in which we believe. Saul Alinsky, the social agitator, once said that no matter how much he criticizes his government, once he left the United States, he suddenly can't find a nasty thing to say about it. I'm sure that this is what the most sincere people feel, whether liberal or conservative. That is one of the essences of our nation. Take care of yourselves and keep writing. Vicki, thanks for the turkey. On December 12th, 2 days before he died, he wrote, Dear family, I thought I'd drop this picture to you. I'll send some more when they come back from the developers. By the way, it's a picture of a flag I pulled out of a tunnel I found the other day. I got mucho goodies out of it. I got to keep this NVA flag and Chicon M1 rifle in mint condition. Now all I have to do is get it back from my CO, who said that it had to go to intelligence first. It better, the rotten, selfish, thieving skunk. Oh well. So goes another day in the land of make-believe. Much love, your son and brother, Stephen. P.S. I'll try and write a letter soon. Stephen served with the Company C, 4th Battalion, 23rd Infantry, Mechanized, 25th Infantry Division based in Cu Chi. He was killed on December 14, 1967, during a search and destroy mission. 2 days later, my brother Doug was also serving in the Navy. He was serving with the Navy off the coast of Vietnam and wrote home, We are near Vung Tau, right near the Saigon River. So I guess I'm closer to Stephen than I think. Who knows? Maybe we shall get to see each other. I doubt it, but who knows? Maybe we will. They did, writes their sister, Victoria Miano. On December 22nd, Douglas escorted Stephen's body home. Stephen was 20 years old when he died. I just want to say thank you to all those who have served. Welcome home, especially to our Vietnam veterans. And there's a movie called Taking Chance, and there was one quote in the movie that it said, that, of course now it's flying out of my head, but it was about being a witness. If they are forgotten, they must always be remembered, because without it, without a witness, they just disappear. So we are their witnesses, and we must always remember all those who, as we mentioned, that it's like they all gave some gave all, and we must never forget them. Thank you again so much, always, for the honor and privilege to be able to read Stephen's words. Thank you.
The wreaths being laid today represent the following: the United War Veterans Council, Vietnam veterans, prisoners of war, and the missing in action. Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, all military service branches. In memory of John F. Ward, U.S. Army, Vietnam. In memory of Michael Galea, U.S. Marine Corps, Vietnam. Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 126, Green. Korean American Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 126. Flowers presented by Gold Star family members, Vicki, Miano, and Emily Toro. My apologies. And the Friends of Vietnam Veterans Plaza. This concludes our formal ceremony. Thank you all for joining us today. And once again, thank you to our Vietnam veterans and their families for their service and sacrifice. Please continue to stay safe, and we look forward to gathering again with more of our friends next year. Thank you.
And I'm Kristal Hart reporting from Vietnam Veterans Plaza here in New York City. Thanks for watching, and thank a veteran today.